Luke, how do you explain a performance like that with so much to play for in your season?
How do I explain it? I think two sides turned up today, one wounded from not getting the best out of themselves in Launceston last week, and another one, obviously, that is facing extreme adversity. And the best way to explain it is that in the simple things, in the intensity and in the levels that you need to establish a foothold in the game, they were just a bit better than us for longer. So it was a poor start, clawed our way back, but there's always a danger against anyone, that whether it's West Coast or anyone who's down near or at the bottom of the ladder. You know what you're going to be up against. So, when you play teams who are higher up the ladder, you think about their influence and what they're capable of, and with West Coast today, you can't go there because they haven't had the most outstanding performances throughout the course of the year. But they obviously found something today, and we couldn't quite match it, and that sums it up.
So did you sort of tell the players in the rooms with, obviously, your destiny's a bit out of your hands now?
Yeah, well, it's all about sticking together, and any time in this game when you face adversity, which we are, it's about making sure that you're glued together, looking towards this week, still trying to find optimism and looking at it as an opportunity, and that was my message to them.
Just reading between the lines of what your first answer when you're talking about top of the ladder teams and bottom of the ladder, do you think your boys took them too easily today? Is that basically what you're saying, or am I misunderstanding that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you are looking for a cue early in the game, and the guys who have the first chance to impact the game from a contest point of view and get the game in your favour territory-wise didn't quite get that done, and they got out of the blocks. And then obviously we're clawing our way back from there. But as a collective, no, I don't think we took West Coast easy, and or what they might bring for granted. I just feel like they came with a tenacity that trumped ours at the start of the game, which is the main disappointment at the end of it.
Yeah, how is that possible? Like when you know, I mean, obviously it's hard for you to explain it as well, but when you've got a final spot up for grabs, they don't have a lot to play for, and you've back-to-back weeks you've lost to four sides.
How's it possible, Mark? Yeah, good question. I mean, they're human, and obviously you've got 22 on a sub, but if you have anyone who's slightly off, we're a team that is really affected by that, and that happened today. Again, I think as far as winning positions on the ground, we I thought there were, again, the skipper just flew the flag and did everything he could to lift us, and I thought James O'Donnell and Liam Jones were exceptional, as those key backs, and but we're searching for positional winners, and it's difficult to win games. We've been a little bit that way in recent times. Haven't had the saturation of winning our positions, and it happened again today.
West Coast have quite a lot of players carrying injuries, been pretty battered over the course of the season. Do you have concerns over your team's fitness, given you were in touch in the last quarter but weren't able to run it out?
Well, as I said earlier on, I mean, essentially the game is it starts from a platform of athletic profile, and you run, your speed, your endurance, your contest, your courage, and then you grow things from there. And so, and today, overall and throughout, I'm talking about positional winners, you'd have to say that we're outworked in different areas. And so, do I have concerns? You're always thinking about it, and you're always concerned for the future, to make sure you fortify your opportunity, and so your team profile is always a really important consideration in that, and we'll just keep going to work on trying to produce our best teams for the football club, and not going to move away from that.
It's one of the biggest challenges of your coaching career now, having to go down to Geelong where you haven't won for a long time to potentially book a final spot.
That's one of, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, over the journey, as I said, it's an emotional game and it beats you up at times, but as I said, through adversity, sometimes there is opportunity, and that's the only way we can look at it. And I think it's been 20 years since we've won down there, and as much as we haven't won in my time, we all inherit the previous 10 or 11, and so we'll turn our focus to that pretty quickly.
How frustrating, Luke, is it that you're in this position where you're having to rely on others to play finals, when on the outside it seems like the list looks like a list that should be playing finals and should be playing finals comfortably? Yeah,
well, you guys, I mean, you can only assess our list based on what you see. You're looking at our whole list, or you're looking at players who have been influential in the past. Is your knowledge of the game, I suppose, sophisticated enough to understand that it takes more than a handful, that you've got to play to your 22 and 23 at this level, and so you can work through that. I'm not going to. The one thing I'll never do is throw any of our players under the bus. I mean, our endeavours. I've always had a confidence in. So how frustrating is it? Well, I just said to them, no matter what happens, I stand in front of them and say, I believe in you, I think we can do this, I think we can do that. Regardless of what happens, it's the only way you become a good team, if you believe in yourself, and whether that's reality or not, time will tell. I mean, in the past, we've experienced success out of the blue. We've experienced elevation and trajectory when no one thought we could, and then other times, maybe like now that you're alluding to, is if the assessment is that there's more in us than what we're getting, well, that's totally an analytical thing that you're totally entitled to. I just need to continue to pump belief into them in whatever shape or form I can.
What your comment there about us looking at the list and seeing those stars at the top, do you feel like the depth isn't there on the list?
It sort of lines up with what I said about talking about your group and their capability and their capacity. I always see the good in them and what they might be able to do and how they might be able to grow. I think one of the great examples today was James O'Donnell. We were criticised early for playing him too early, and now you're seeing why. And he's a young kid who, as I said last week, he played his first full game since he was an under-13s player. And so you look at him as an example of someone who can grow and impact really quickly. I thought he was exceptional for most of it today, and that's the way I look at it. And whether they're experienced players in our group or guys who are relatively inexperienced, our coaches and our people will just continue to support them and go to work with them to help them find their best. I can't look at it any other way.
Aaron Norton was a bit banged up at times, came off a couple of times. Are there any concerns with him going forward? Or?
Well, I don't think so, but yeah, he did. During the game there were some concerns, but I think he finished the game okay. He got a knock in the shin, and then he might have hurt his shoulder a little bit, but I think he's okay without checking in with our medical staff.
Luke, you touched on the great success you've had in the past of this football club, a premiership, a grand final, this sort of thing. You still absolutely believe you're the right man to lead this club?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, ultimately, sometimes you need to evolve, and if at the moment, we're in this sort of static area from a performance point of view, we'll work out why it is. But from a leadership perspective and coaching the team and the club, yeah, I'm really comfortable with my tenure. Thanks, everyone.